Hello, and thank you for joining us today on this month's episode of the Transit Talk. Remember, friends, the Transit Talk is a grassroots educational program organized by our co-workers to bring you the two single most important fundamental elements of any and every movement. Number one, educating ourselves, and number two, organizing ourselves. Diving straight into this episode of the Transit Talk, we are going to be talking about something very, very serious that could cost you your job, your career here as an operator. It's in regards to General Notice 22, which pertains to General Order 172 in regards to PEDs and the zero tolerance policy. PEDs, the personal electronic devices. Friends, it's very simple. This is the way that I describe it in layman's terms. 3 strikes and you're gone. 3 strikes and you're out. It's that simple. However, because of the fact that it's that simple, I also want to break down some of the fundamental elements that are behind in the sort of background of this general notice and how it pertains to you. So 3 strikes and you're gone. The agency is saying that if you do not want to get in trouble, well then you take your PED, you turn it off, you stow it, and you keep it off of your body. You can put it in your bag, in your backpack, you can put it in a little bag if you'd like. You can even put it inside your jacket. As long as you take that off of your body. Take it off of your body and stow it. Hang it up. Put it to the side so that it's not within reach. Number 1, turn it off. Number 2, stow it. Number 3, take it off of your body. Otherwise, it's 3 strikes and you're out. It's not like an AWOL or like being late to work where it happens within a rolling period in terms of the disciplinary policy. Well, Pete, do me a favor.
Yeah, well, here's
Look
AWOL.
up AWOL. What does it say for AWOL?
There's an 8-month window.
8-month window. So within the 8-month window,
First,
if you get 1 AWOL,
it's 2 days suspension.
the second AWOL,
Within that 8-month period, it's 10 days
the third AWOL,
suspension, termination.
okay. If you pass that 8-month window, you start from 0 again. However, with this new PED zero tolerance policy, it's 3 strikes and you're gone. So if you get caught once today, that's 1 strike. You get caught once again next year, that's your 2nd strike. And 20 years down the line, you get caught one more time, that's it. It's over. You're done. That's the 3 strikes and you're out rule, zero tolerance policy that just came out. And we're doing this episode to let you know how absolutely important it is for us to not get caught in this, because we are here to try and help you in terms of giving you the information so that nobody gets in trouble in regards to this. You know, sometimes people say, oh, well, what if I have an emergency? What if, one of my coworkers tells me that my wife or my husband, is in the hospital. I have a family member in the hospital. Well, then what you do is you step off of the vehicle, you secure the vehicle, and then you do what you have to do with your PED, as long as you're following these rules. You can even still use your PED inside your vehicle as long as you are outside of the operator's compartment area, behind the line. And once again, it has to be first turned off, properly stowed, and off your body, right? So if somebody tells you, hey, I just saw your wife, your husband, somebody in your family is in the hospital, and you need to make that phone call, you can do it properly, safely, and legally so that you don't get in trouble pertaining to this new zero tolerance policy. So, Pete, why don't you go ahead and break down some of the most basic fundamental elements in regards to this, because I know that people out there still have a few more questions, comments, concerns, etc., and so forth.
Well, I want to address 2 things that you said. The one thing with the emergency, so I've got a 10-year-old, a 13-year-old. Let's say the 10-year-old, something happens, heaven forbid, she gets hit by a car, whatever, she's in the hospital. Right now, what would they do? Oh, they'll call the dispatcher. She has a dispatch number. Call the dispatcher. I'll tell you, I don't know how your yard works, but I've called Presidio many times. Ring, 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 and then it goes, bam, 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 and it hangs up on you. Do you think my wife sitting in the hospital is going to keep calling back Presidio trying to get through? That is not okay. And this is General Order 172. And it speaks about what operators are required to do or can't do, but it also speaks about what the agency must do. Requirements for emergency contact procedures. Some of you might call the dispatcher, some of you might call somebody else. Says that the agency shall implement procedures by which employees addressed, that's all of us in this general order, can be contacted in the event of a personal or family emergency. Okay, some people might say, well, you already have the dispatcher's number. Like I said, that's not good enough. These procedures shall include, at minimum, the routing of that contact through a designated person or division within the RTA. Now, this is General Order 172, adopted October 6th, 2011.
Wow.
Have they told you of a designated phone number or a way to contact somebody in case of an emergency?
No.
No. So in other words, the agency is possibly in violation of General Order 172.
Oh, interesting.
And it's one of the things that you and I talked about when we talked about running for office 2 years ago or whatever, was not just working for better wages and safety, but somehow trying to get people, operators, and other members of our union more relaxed.
Right.
Right? More relaxed. Do you think you'd be more relaxed if you know that in case of any kind of emergency, they can contact you right away?
Well, yeah, I mean, given the situation that you just stated, I mean, I'm sure that that's happened to almost everybody here in the fleet, that they call their dispatcher and for some reason or another, it's just, they don't.
Right.
Yeah, it happens to everybody.
That's one of the things that Roger and I, we're actually talking about contacting the CPUC ourselves. Why should we wait for the SFMTA to tell us what the CPUC says?
Right.
So that's one of the things that I want to address that you brought up, and some people definitely have that issue. I'm not going to turn my cell phone off. What a case of emergency?
No, that's a great point.
Okay.
That's a great point. So real quick,
the other thing was the zero tolerance policy.
Right.
Okay, it says right on top of the general notice, zero tolerance policy. So zero tolerance doesn't mean they don't have any tolerance, which is what it sounds like. Zero tolerance means a policy where the consequences to a person who does not comply with this notice, with the PED notice, and prohibitions, not of theirs, of General Order 172, are written, automatic, specific, and non-discretionary. That means if operators or other people addressed in General Order 170 and General Order 172, if they violate 172 and the agency picks a penalty, we can't fight it.
Right.
The lawyer can't fight it. Your politician can't fight it. Nobody can fight it. So, number one, PED restrictions while operating any transit vehicle. If somebody is operating a transit vehicle, according to PUC, General Order 172, operating a rail transit vehicle or other on-track vehicle, devices must be turned off and stowed. So, if you're driving your vehicle and you're talking on your cell phone, you're texting on your cell phone, you got your cell phone sitting there on the floor and you're trying to look for texts, are you in violation of General Order 172? Yes. Can the agency then, according to the zero tolerance policy, then makes a discipline? First time, this is the January. They came out with January. They said it wasn't strong enough, so they came out with a new one.
First offense, 5 days suspension.
5 days suspension.
The second offense is 10 days
10
suspension.
days suspension.
Third is termination.
You're
That's
gone.
3 strikes, you're gone.
You're gone. Okay. The other thing, there's 2 more by General Order 172. Dispatching, flagging, or otherwise controlling the movement of rail transit vehicles. Now that might pertain more to supervisors and dispatchers than to just operators or to other members of our union. But number 3, performing any task while fouling the tracks. Okay.
So that word has come up quite a bit in terms of fouling, and a lot of our members don't know what that is. So why don't you give them the exact definition of what it means when you're fouling the tracks?
Well, conveniently, for those of you who have General Order 172, it's here underneath definitions, as is zero tolerance policy. Fouling the tracks means placing oneself or any equipment in an area where it could be struck by the widest equipment that could occupy the tracks. Okay.
So technically anybody could foul the tracks. Me, you, just a pedestrian walking across the street from on any tracks. I mean, anybody.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. 2 days ago, an F-line operator stopped the F-line because a car had parked at the corner of Market and Stewart, and that much of the car was sticking over the white line. That car was fouling the tracks. When you drive down Market Street in the middle lane, you are fouling the tracks. There's nothing wrong. You're on the 21 and you're at the terminal and you walk to the restroom, you are fouling the tracks. There's nothing wrong with fouling the tracks.
So you just stated something very interesting. When you're at your terminal, hypothetically, you're at Don Chi Way, and you need to go use the restroom over at Don Chi Way, and you cross the street in front of the tracks, both going inbound and outbound. You're fouling the tracks.
Yes.
What happens if you're, for some reason, happen to be on your PED?
Well, when I start my second half, I go up to Masonic and Turk, and I get the 31, and I drive inbound. They give me 6-minute turnaround time, and it's nowhere near enough. I'm often 5, 6, 10 minutes late when I go inbound. And if I decide to use the restroom, and I try to do it quickly and efficiently, and I try and turn on my cell phone because I now have to power it up and walk over to the restroom, and I'm powering it up and I'm walking across the tracks, it's not in violation of 172.
So you can walk across the streets with your PED.
According to the CPUC.
In front of the... Okay.
But according to the agency, you cannot, as it says right here, outside of a transit vehicle and within 6 feet of any rail vehicle, so walking to the restroom, in uniform but not on duty.
In uniform but not on duty.
Yeah.
So if I finish my shift and I am downtown and I'm still in uniform and I'm going to go catch a taxi or a BART or whatever, and I walk across the street, I finish my shift.
Yep.
And I walk across the street Don Chi Way. I finish my shift, but I'm still in uniform. The agency saying that I'm in violation?
If you have your cell phone out.
Wow.
So,
okay. But that's something
you used
that
to drive the historic F line, right?
Right.
And the F line, isn't that often a split shift?
Yes.
Okay, it's often a split shift. You get off right over, somebody takes over, you're done. If you do something on your cell phone, oh, hey, there's Pete over there driving the 31. I'm going to go talk to him. According to this, you're supposed to power down your cell phone to walk across those tracks.
Even though I'm off. Even though my shift is
according to the agency, not according to the CPUC. Now, the nice thing about that, Roger, is because it's not in violation of the CPUC.
We can fight that.
We can fight that.
Absolutely.
We can fight that.
And we will.
Yes.
And we will.
Yes. I know that you had a meeting, or you were involved in a meeting with some supervisors from the city and county of San Francisco, the board of supervisors, and at least one of them mentioned that the union should be involved in more of the decision making or
right.
more input and that type of thing. This is the type of thing that I would have loved to have, instead of been driving the 31, to be sitting there with you and talking to them about that. Because what I was told by the head of the agency was that, oh, it's not just 172, it's PUC Order 175. Now, 172 is nice. It's just a couple pages. It's very specific. It's made in 2011. I like it. It's very easy for me to understand. Okay? Well, I can understand 175, but it's 19 pages. I had to print out 19 pages. And a lot of it is talking about working on the tracks. Okay? I do not work on the tracks. Okay? And here's a general order from January. This is a general order from August.
Okay.
And if you take, this is the one we've been working on until August 7th? August 7th, they came out with this new one. One of the things that they did is they made penalties more harsh.
Right.
When you're driving a vehicle, it's no longer a 3-day suspension, it's now a 5-day suspension. Can they do that? Yes, they can, according to General Order 172.
Right.
They can do that. But it also says they can make up other rules and penalties and stuff, and they will, in the name of safety.
Okay.
I personally don't think that that saying when I'm in uniform off of work and I can't walk across the street, is that really in the name of safety?
Well, we're here to let everybody know, everybody watching out there and listening, we got your back. We have your back. And this is why we're here in terms of breaking down this information so that you could understand what's going on, what's happening, and how to deal with these situations, and also how to avoid these situations. So, Pete, we're running down on time. Get to some of the most nitty gritty.
You said we're notifying. Just to let you know, General Order 175 says that the agency must notify and instruct their employees on the provisions of the PED. Of the PED notice. They must notify and instruct. I went into the office, to pick up my paddle last week, and I was handed the general notice.
Okay.
Here, sign this. So they notified me. Did they instruct me? No. This is not instructions. There is stuff in General Order 175 about talking about instructing us and teaching us and classes on all this safety stuff. Are they giving it to us? No. Once again, they are not doing that. Somebody, another operator handing me this is not instructing me. And that's why Roger and I are talking to you about this today. Because people cannot believe that they're walking across the street in a uniform and getting suspended. The agency is okay, here's a guy driving an LRV, here's somebody else driving the 9R, and they're both walking across Market Street. How do we know which one drives an LRV? Well, you call TMC. You ask the operator.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, and if you notice on, it actually says here in 172 that they can make different penalties for different things. Do you, Roger Marenko, think that me talking on the cell phone while I'm driving the 31 Balboa would be the same as me walking to the restroom with my cell phone? Do you think that's a same egregious offense?
No, it's not.
Okay,
not.
well, in the January notice, it was actually 2 different penalties. And it wasn't, you didn't get, you could walk to the bathroom 3 times and be terminated.
Wow.
According to this new one.
And that's why we're here to defend everybody, to back you guys up, to let you guys know about what's going on, the realities, and some of the fallacies as well.
Yes.
What else you got, Pete?
Well, just want to point out, as you and I were talking about the Honolulu's distracted walking law. Some people say, well, it's not good to walk on the street. Hey, Honolulu's got a new law, and you pay $15 if you get caught walking across the street on a cell phone. If they did that to everybody in San Francisco, would it be so egregious to have to say that's for operators in the uniforms? No, it wouldn't. And but right now, an operator who lives out, especially one who lives outside the city, might not remember. Hey, I live in Oakland. I walk across the street all the time. Now I walk across the street in San Francisco, and bam, I got suspended for 5 days. That just seems kind of crazy.
Right. What else you got, Pete? Anything else?
I think we're pretty good. Yes. Here is one other order bulletin. Now, this is not the newest one, but remember this? I showed you this one earlier. It says, when central control, now, of course, it's TMC now, calls, or if you need to call on the radio, stop the vehicle at a safe location before making or taking the call.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because oftentimes we out there in the streets, we see operators driving and talking on the on the dispatcher phone, on the TMC phone, on the. Don't do that. What does it say again right there in the order bulletin? Please read it.
When central control calls, because this is from a couple of years ago, and we need to look and see if they've got a follow-up on this. And if they don't, then you, at one of your meetings, since they don't have me in there for your safety, if you need to call central control on the radio, stop the vehicle at a safe location before making or taking the call.
So please, friends, don't drive and talk on the phone, even if dispatch is calling you. Pull over to a safe location, wait till you get to the terminal, do it in a safe manner, because if and or when you do happen to get in an accident, an incident, a collision, you will be blamed for it, because the excuse is going to be you were on the phone talking to dispatch, period. Therefore, you could have avoided it. So please, we are here to inform you about what's going on, about the realities that are occurring out here on a daily basis. So please, CYA, cover yourself, please.
Hey, have you ever driven at San Jose and 30th in a train?
Yes.
Okay, so when you pull out, you drove the F, but the LRVs, the J's go there all the time, right?
Right.
And it's actually a 3-way light. And if they're going inbound, they set off the light and you get it. So I was driving and I was talking to TMC and I was driving the 24 and I was stopped. I know that 3-way light. And you know what? I was distracted. And the light went red in the other direction and I started out into the intersection. Now, the light didn't go green, but I made a mistake. And the LRV driver didn't go, and she just looked at me and shook her head. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Why did I do that? I would never have done that. I was distracted. I haven't had any written issues like accidents or incidents in 4 years. And I came close to one that day because I was talking on the phone to TMC.
So please, friends, don't do it. We're not here to scare you. We are here to inform you. We are here to advise you in regards to the new general notice pertaining to the General Order 172. Friends, it's quite simple. Please turn it off. Stow it in your bag, in your backpack, in your jacket. You can stow it in a little bag, in a McDonald's bag, in a little Walgreens plastic bag, whatever it is. Turn it off. stow it. Keep it off of your body so that you don't get into this problem, this issue, because this right here can cause you to lose your job. It's very simple. 3 strikes and you're gone. 3 strikes and you're gone. There's no time limit. There's no time limit on it. And like I said, friends, we're not here to scare you. We are here to inform you in regards to what's going on so that you don't get caught in these situations. Anything else, Pete?
Just real quick, you remember you had a meeting and they said, oh, well, some cities, they don't even let you bring your cell phone.
That's right.
Okay? And I don't get that that's a threat to us. I mean, I mean, what... I think they want us to have cell phones. Are they going to come out and say they want us to have cell phones? I don't know, but my radio wouldn't work on my coach the other day, and I pulled over and I called them and I told them myself my radio wouldn't work, and ultimately they sent out a mechanic. But what would have happened if I didn't have my cell phone? I would have pulled over because they were calling me and they would say, you know, Coach 8157 or 5670, 5670, and then I would call and I would say something, they just couldn't hear me. So days before cell phone, well, pull the emergency brake. Wait for another coach to pull up the 25th. Ask them, hey, give them a note. Call TMC and send a mechanic.
Right.
They want me to have a cell phone. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just leave my cell phone at home. I mean,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, friends, this is all the information that we have for you today. This is a very serious issue, topic of concern in regards to PEDs, because we do not want you to get in trouble. We do not want you to lose your job, and we do not want you to get disciplined. This is the reason why we're bringing these issues to you. So thank you for tuning in today. Remember, 3 strikes and you're gone. Turn it off. Properly stow it and keep it off of your body so that you do not get into trouble. With that being stated, friends, I wanted to say thank you again for joining us, and remember to join us the 3rd Wednesdays of every month at our general membership meetings at 7 o'clock in the evening. Until next time, friends, be safe out there.